Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I got some new information on the Stephen Smith case. Stephen Smith, the 19-year-old nursing student found in the middle of the road during the early morning hours of July 8th, 2015. Media reports are connecting what happened to Stephen Smith with one of the Murdaugh family members, whether it's Buster Murdaugh, Alec Murdaugh, Paul Murdaugh. Stephen Smith, his case is a mystery. What happened to Stephen Smith? Originally, it was ruled a hit and run, but now recently SLED, which is one of the law enforcement departments in South Carolina, ruled his case a homicide, and it's an open case. What happened to Stephen Smith? So I was reading some of the old investigated notes on the Stephen Smith case, and there was an anonymous tip that came in. Now, Stephen Smith was found July 8th, 2015. There was an anonymous tip that was sent to law enforcement on December 7th, 2015, about 5 months later. And I want to share this anonymous tip that was sent to law enforcement. It is in their notes, and I want to share that with you right here, right now. Check it out. So this was obtained. This is the part of the investigative files of the death of Stephen Smith. And in 12/7/2015, law enforcement received an email in reference to anonymous tip. States Donterrio Aiken, along with another black male and a white male, parentheses, Murdaugh, are the ones involved in death. This tip is referring to Stephen Smith. This is part of the law enforcement files on the Stephen Smith investigation that was noted way back on 12/7/2015. Donterrio Aiken and a white male, Murdaugh, involved with the death of Stephen Smith. So anonymous tip names an individual by the name of Donterrio Aiken being involved with the death of Stephen Smith. And it lists a Murdaugh, but it doesn't say which Murdaugh. It just lists a Murdaugh and a Donterrio Aiken. Who is Donterrio Aiken? So I was digging around and I've actually found who he is. Check it out. This is the public Facebook profile of Donterrio Aiken. Donterrio Aiken. This individual is Facebook friends with Buster Murdaugh. You can see right here, friends. Click on this profile. It is Buster Murdaugh. Looks like an old profile of Buster Murdaugh from 2016. Clicking back to Donterrio Aiken, says he works at Twitty's Tree Service, lives in Varnville, from Estill, friends with Buster Murdaugh. This man here, Donterrio Aiken, was listed as an anonymous tip in a police report that he and a Murdaugh are involved with the death of Stephen Smith. Scrolling down the profile here, Donterrio Aiken, let's just go to about, see a little bit. Studied at Wade Hampton High School, went to Wade Hampton High School, Wade Hampton class of 2015. Movies he likes, Menace to Society. Let's scroll here to pictures, uploads. Looks like there's a bunch of trucks. Maybe he's into the trucking business. Scrolling along. Donterrio Aiken listed as a person responsible for Stephen Smith. This is a picture from him back in 2013. And again, friends with Buster Murdaugh. This was January 9, 2016. Interesting, though, about this is the last public photo of Buster Murdaugh was on January 9th, 2016. In an anonymous tip police report, it was December 2015 when someone said that Donterrio Aiken and a Murdaugh was responsible for the death of Stephen Smith. A month later, Buster posts something, but he hasn't posted nothing on this profile since. That's public. Donterrio Aiken. Let me know your thoughts. Looks like the same Donterrio Aiken that was mentioned in the anonymous tip. Reason being that Donterrio Aiken, it was Facebook and is Facebook friends with Buster Murdaugh. Facebook friends with Buster Murdaugh. It looks like that was an old Facebook profile of Buster Murdaugh. Is Buster Murdaugh and Donterrio Aiken involved with the death of Stephen Smith? Have authorities questioned Buster or Donterrio? I'm reading reports that authorities did question Donterrio about it. This was in an article the Daily Mail wrote. In this article, I'm going to read a few paragraphs. The tip-off, which came via anonymous email, stated that Donterrio Aiken, along with another black male and a white male, parentheses Murdaugh, are the ones involved in the death. It says investigators followed up on this and spoke with Aiken about his knowledge of anyone with the last name Murdaugh. Aiken said that he knew one that graduated with the victim, but when questioned, he himself denied being friends with any Murdaughs on Facebook and then appeared to indicate he was unsure. Officers subsequently found that Aiken was Facebook friends with Buster Murdaugh. When pressed, he stated that he never hung out with him or went to any parties hosted by the Murdaugh subjects. Now, what about Buster? Has he been questioned? Buster recently came out with a statement that was put out on Twitter by Jim Griffin, Alec Murdaugh's attorney, saying that Buster is not involved whatsoever with the death of Stephen Smith. What happened to Stephen Smith? Case remains a mystery. Will law enforcement re-question Donterrio Aiken? Does Donterrio Aiken have any answers to this? Does he have more insight? Maybe he changes his tune if authorities speak to him. Or maybe he's not involved whatsoever. But the name was dropped. His name was dropped, along with another anonymous person. Anonymous person involved with Buster, or not Buster, but a Murdaugh and Donterrio Aiken. Maybe they're talking about Paul Murdaugh in that anonymous tip. Maybe another Murdaugh that we don't know about. I am covering this case extensively. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button, check out my Murdaugh playlist. What happened to Stephen Smith? I was at the scene praying for Stephen Smith's family. Hopefully they get answers soon. When I get more information, I'll share it with you all. So stay tuned. Justice for Stephen Smith and his family.